Shalom, Shalom. And the title of this lesson is A Friend of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakwadash. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, Lord willing that you continue as a whole in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Yahawah, the sisters of this faith and this truth. Lord willing you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. We're going to deal with 3 different points on a friend of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And, you know, when you come in this faith and you actually start to believe, you know, you are becoming a friend of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So the 3 points we're going to cover in this lesson is the spirit of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and belief in him makes one a friend of the Most High. The importance of being a friend and prophet of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and how to know you are truly a friend of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So Lord willing, this is straight to the point and edifying for the sheep. So this is St. John, the 15th chapter, verse 13 to 15. It says, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth, I call you not servants, but the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. So Yahawashi said those who obey him are not just servants, but friends. A friend walks in the same spirit, sharing his truth, obedience, and purpose. Now, I want to just get this classic that we bring out, because when you go to 1 John 2 and 6, it tells you, if you abide in him, you must walk as he walked. Now, you could be a friend and a prophet of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which a prophet is a true friend, you know, a friend of the bridegroom. So I just want to get this, and then I want to go to another point showing friend. So this is Romans, the 12th chapter in verse 1. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Now for the teachers, the prophets, you know, you're laying your body down for the sheep, right? You're enduring all things for the sheep when you do these lessons, right? When you are correcting, right? Let alone you're walking in this thing. But really, each lesson is to keep the believers on their toes in this faith, right? Because if we didn't have teachers, how can you really be on your toes? How can you think on the Lord when it comes to prophecies and parables? It's so many men that, you know, claim this truth that's always worried about debating. Oh, Yahawashi is not God, right? But never going into in-depth lessons, parables, dark sayings, parables, right? So we're supposed to present ourselves like a living sacrifice daily. Now, of course, there's other believers that should be laying themselves down too for the faith. But of course, it's not going to be the same as the men of the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is using. But let's get this, and then we'll continue on with the lesson. This is Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, starting at verse 20. I'll start at 26. It says, for she is the brightness of the everlasting life, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, in the image of his goodness. In being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages entering into holy souls, she make them friends of the Most High and prophets. For the Most High loves none but him that dwells with wisdom, right? And who is that her, right? In the Greek is Sophia, but this is speaking about wisdom, the spirit of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? That spirit that allows you or gives you the ability to understand his word, right? St. John 14:26. The Rakakwadash is going to bring all things to our remembrance, right? And guess what? It's going to make you a friend of the Most High and a prophet, right? Because a true friend, right, believes, you know, a true friend is obedient. A true friend is going to endure even when affliction comes. Okay? Because that's when the Lord is really watching, when you're in affliction, when you're suffering, right? This is Romans, the 8th chapter, and I'll start at verse 8. The point is verse 9. It says, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. Now, even if you're not a teacher, it doesn't matter what level. The spirit of Hamashiach is forever learning. Now, the spirit of Yahawashi, because the Lord called us babes. What was Yahawashi doing at the age of 12? Right? To have the spirit of Yahawashi, you're learning. Because how can you believe if you're not hearing the word, if you're not learning, right? This is Luke. And I just want to stick to the points so the lesson is not too long. But if you go to this chapter, read from 42 to 52. But let's, stick on the point, because they're about to, doing the customs of Passover, right? So this is Luke chapter 2 in verse 49. It says, and he said unto them, let's go up. Verse 45 and 46. It says, and when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions, right? So this would be the spirit of Hamashiach. You're forever learning, okay? Because especially to be a prophet, but to actually be a friend, those same friends, what was the disciples? They were pupils, learners. You have to learn the doctrine of the Lord, right? And even if I'm learning this and that, I'm forever learning, right? Because a true believer is always a student, right? So just going back to Wisdom of Solomon, that's 7 in verse 27. It says, in being but one, she can do all things and remain in herself. She makes all things new, right? You become afresh. When you look at St. John 6 and 63, a quickening spirit made alive, right? You become new. And in all ages entering into holy souls, right? So it feels good if you in this faith, if you sincere, because you're considered a holy soul. She makes them friends of the Most High and prophets. So the spirit of wisdom, the Rakakwadash from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, makes men friends of the Most High and prophets. This directly connects to Yahawashi's word, showing the spirit transform you from just a servant into a friend and a prophet, right? Because there's levels to this thing. This is why brothers can admit and say, I'm a prophet. I know the Lord is using me to teach his word. Let alone when you see other sheep teaching the same thing, it's got to be real, right? The Lord is flashing a freaking light because of that spirit is upon the earth now, right? The Lord is bringing us, connecting back with us, right? Let me actually get that. St. John 14 verse 26. Because knowledge is increasing. It says, but the Comforter, which is the Rakakwadash, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I said unto you. Yeah, how is the Spirit going to teach you? When you go to Acts, the 8th chapter, verse 26 down, when the angel and the Spirit moved him to go to Gaza and come across the eunuch that was reading the book of Isaiah, the 53rd chapter. And Philip said, hey, do you understand what you're reading? He said, no, unless somebody guide me, right? So the Rakakwadash guides you, right? You might pick up the Bible and be like, dang, man, why I don't never read this? And then you start reading and you come across something that you ain't never heard before. And then you might bump on a YouTube video, TikTok, or you might come across brothers that's teaching. And you be like, wait, hold on. I was just reading this the other day. And it could be a brother that fully believe he is a Hebrew Israelite, right? A descendant of Jacob. And he's going into a point or a lesson that you just came across. And now he's giving you understanding. He's like, wait, don't take my word for it. Be like the people of Berea. You had a readiness mind to hear what was said. Now go search these same scriptures daily, whether it was so, right? You want to be persuaded. And if you're doing this searching And then now it's confirmation. Yo, this is it. This is it. Let alone if you get another witness, say if it's another brother that's teaching it and is lining up, you have confirmation that that's the right understanding. You just have been fed with that information by the Rakak Wadash. Come on, man. So this is Amos 3 and 7. Also that verse 6, it says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city? The trumpets is the prophets, right? Isaiah 51. They're being vocal. And the people not be afraid. Shall there be evil in the city and Yahawah have not done it? Right? We're over here blowing the trumpet. Right? Are the people even aware? Only the elect will, because the elect is predestined to be a friend of the Lord. Surely Yahawah power would do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, and those prophets are friends, right? So the prophets are Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's friends, okay? The ones he trusts with divine secrets. Like, because when you look at Wisdom of Solomon 3:9, those that put their trust in him shall understand doctrine. How? Because the Lord is going to fill them up with the Spirit, right? Let's actually get that in Revelations 11:11, right? This is, the prophecy of really how this truth started to dwell in Jake in today's time. Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, 350 years, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them, which saw them. Right? For us to stand on our feet is us knowing who we are. In the land of our captivities, we shall remember ourselves. But it's really the spirit of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Genesis, the 18th chapter, verse 17 to 18. And Yahawah said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, saying that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Now, if you understand from Genesis 12, Abraham showed, even for us, showed that he actually believed in Yahawah Bahasham. He had faith. He left his country, family, kindreds, and went to a land that the Lord was going to give him and his descendants. Then he was willing to give up his son, right? His firstborn, which is Isaac. You know, he had other sons. He was willing to sacrifice his son because Yahawah asked. Faith. So Abraham was called the friend of the Most High. Let's actually back that up in James 2 and 3. So Yahawah, right, trusted him enough to share his judgments and promises. The judgment he was about to do to Sodom and Gomorrah, and the promise he was going to do in the end. Because the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, right? Everything is going to be fulfilled in its due season. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. Everything has an appointed time. So James 2 and 23, in the scriptures was fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed the Most High, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, for he was called the friend of the Most High. Now, you see how I went to each precept, some line upon line? This is how you're supposed to instruct a lesson to stay on point. Because I know some of you, why don't you read further in the context? Because you could go to verse 20 down. But we're trying to deal with the points, right? So the point is that it showed that it was imputed unto him for righteousness, which is Abraham, because he believed the Most High. He was called the friend of the Most High. That's why when you go to Genesis 18:17 to 18, this is why the Lord, hey, should I reveal what I'm going to do? And he did. He revealed it to Abraham because Abraham's belief and obedience made him Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's friend, not just a title. Right? This not just a time, the fathers of many nations, so on, all the good things the Lord spoke about Abraham, but his faith proved it, that he deserved that title. He deserved to be called a friend. He deserved to be called one of the faithful roots, right, of the chosen bloodline. Let's go to this one. 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, in verse 8. I'll read verse 7. Therefore saith Yahawah Bahasham, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely committed, neither will I suffer them in those things, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Right? This right here is a lesson in itself, right? The innocent and righteous blood is crying out to Yahawashi, and the souls of the just complain continually. Those that are living in the earth that are of the righteous, they're complaining. Even your spirit is calling on the Lord, right? I want the Lord to come like yesterday, right? We know all these things have to be fulfilled, but the Lord is watching how you overcoming while you suffer, right? Because when everybody got it good, then they start to relax and get comfortable. The Lord is even more with us when affliction happens, okay? So Yahawashi speaks through his friends, the prophets, to warn and guide, protect his people. Being a friend means you are part of Yahawah's plan of mercy and judgment. Wait, hold on. If the prophet is here to warn and guide, wait, brother, prove that. We're going to show just off of a verse that I quoted earlier. How do we guide? Yes, we can walk you to a direction, but I can't, hey, the Lord is right here. No, we will guide you in the scriptures. We guide you in the prophecies, and we guide you in measuring the times, right? So this is Acts chapter 8, and let's read let's just read the top main points. Right? So verse 26 to 31, and the angel of Yahawashi spake unto Philip. So this is an angel speaking unto Philip, saying, arise and go towards the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasures, and had come to Jerusalem to worship, was returning and sitting in his chariot, and read Isaiah, but it's really Isaiah the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, go near and join thyself to this chariot. This shows you man's going to the Lord, because the Spirit is of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? The Spirit, Yahawah and Yahawashi, they're all in alignment when it comes to agreement, when it comes to the will of Yahawah. Everything is moving in the way Yahawah wants it, okay? That's how we know Yahawah, Yahawashi and the Rakakwadash are one. There's no, oh, let me give you this doctrine. Let me move my own way. Everything is in a line to Yahawah. That's why Yahawashi is the best example of being obedient. But let's keep going. And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet, I'm going to just say Isaiah, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him, right? A lot of men and women that claim, Jesus, the Lord, let's go in the Bible. A lot of them haven't been guided. Then when you try to guide them, it's that rebuttal and bumping against. Then you constantly see them and you constantly trying to guide them and they don't get it. Guess what? They most likely are not a friend or a believer of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. The sheep are getting guided, having a readiness mind to hear whatever question that they have, whatever help that they need, get their answer, and they're going to search the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. So again, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi speak through his friends, the prophets, to warn and guide and protect his people. So with these teachings, we guide you to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And we're warning you of what's to come, what's going to happen. Okay? So let's go back to the chapter we started with, St. John, the 15th chapter, and verse 14. It says, ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. Right? So if we obey Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's word, and not only hearing but doing, that is the mark of his friends. And that's a form of obedience, because to obey is a form of worship. Right? Obey is a form of worship. This is even more why, when we come in this faith, if you're a man or a woman, depending on your gifts, you can use your gifts for the ministry, but let alone if you move by the Rakakwadash, you should be playing your role better. Because how can a woman truly be a friend of the Lord if she don't agree with this? And I see that, but I don't agree with it. Oh, I agree with it when it's in the kingdom. And we all know what some women don't agree with. We understand some women bump against, or, oh, I want to rule my house, I don't want you to do this. How can you truly be a friend of the Lord if you're not even playing your role? The same with the men of the Lord. The men of the Lord, they in this for debate. They in this for money, for bribery, right? But they're not in here to really edify the sheep and build them up on the understanding so they could be prepared. We're set up in this truth to obey. Okay? So let's get Galatians, the 5th chapter, verse 25. It says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Brothers and sisters, take heed to that, right? Your decisions, your behavior, and your mindset shows if you're in Yahawashi spirit or if it's dwelling within you. A true friend moves how the master moves. This is why every day you should be growing. Even you women, being a weaker vessel, you should forever be growing. Even though it's not like your mission let me know every breakdown. But you women of faith, if you move by watching these lessons and taking it and then hurry, like the first day, apply what you read, right? Or what you heard. Let alone if it's a lesson going into women that are wicked, women that show that they in this truth or not. You want to take the things that, because you are a woman, and try to not be the reflection of a wicked woman. Okay? That would be the example of showing you the Spirit of the Lord is in you. But this another one. 1 John 2:6. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked. Right? Because a true friend is moving or following the footsteps of the master. The servant is not greater than the master. So let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, verse 5-6. In having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace have he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. Even going with, Romans the 12th chapter, the elect are burnt offerings, let alone those that are laying themselves down like a living sacrifice, right? So when you endure, right? Actually, let me get this first before I say that. Let's get Romans 5:1-2. It says, therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, by whom also we have access by faith into his grace, wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. Right? And even Romans 8:18, this is something little that's not even compared to what we're about to receive. So when you endure in faith, because we know Wisdom of Solomon, what we just read, and have been a little chastised, they have been greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy of himself. So when we endure in this faith, we trust Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And as a true friend would, a real friend is going to trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, even in suffering. Right? I was, while I was reading we had on the TV, the John, the Revelator movie, even though it's Edomites in it. The point is, when John the Revelator was talking about suffering, and the one dude said, man, I'm not free, I'm a slave. And he was like, while we going through this, the Lord is dealing with us even more. He's with us even more. And while you suffering, the more you love him, right? When you going through these things. And I'm like, yo, it hit so much. So I was trying to trying to find a way off of just that little message. Like, yo, I got to do a lesson on, truly being a friend of the Lord is outside of even just being a teacher. You believe, you believe. And even because people believe because they get finance. I got money. I'm living good. Now they believe in the Lord. But do you truly believe when you don't got that, when you suffering? right? That old slavery, that physical. Imagine all of y'all that got this knowledge now, and it was getting the slave trade. Do you think you would have that same energy of faith? That's why, because right before Yahawashi get here, it's about to get real. So faith is going to truly get tested. Have you been practicing? Have you been training? You know. So this is Psalms chapter 25, verse 14. The secret of Yahawashi is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. Those that fear him respects him. Those that fear him believe in him, right? Because to fear the Lord, you must believe he is who he say he is. Because a friend knows Yahawashi secrets. Really starting with the prophets, and the prophets tell the other sheep, okay? It says you understand prophecy and judgment and mercy because he reveals them through the Rakakwadash. And if you are a friend, you're going to believe. Okay? Let's go to St. John, the 14th chapter, and read verse 23. It says, Yahawashi answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abound with him. Right? So when Yahawashi abides in you, his spirit dwells with you, and the spirit makes you his friend, right? It makes you his prophet. It makes you his beloved. The Lord makes you what role he wants to make you. We don't make shit, right? St. John 15:16, I have chosen you. You didn't choose me. The Lord chose us. You know, Lord willing, you is chose. So, again, a friend of Yahawashi. To be a friend of Yahawashi is not just to know of him, but to walk in his spirit, right? You're walking in this thing, right? Believe on him through faith and obedience in hard times, good times. Receive his secrets. Desire his secrets, right? When you're seeking for a secret, you're investigating. Dorash in the Hebrew. A friend of Yahawashi is not carnal, but spiritual, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 10 to 14, right? They have that spiritual discernment proven through endurance, faith, and love for righteousness, right? Because a lot of people don't truly have a love for this truth. Some people are in this thing for their own personal gain, right? And I just want to get this one verse that I keep referencing. Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, verse 9. And they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have cared for his elect. Right? So those that truly trust in Yahawashi are the friends of Yahawashi. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, straight to the point, and you took something out of it. Lord willing, you can continue to grow and pursue to be a friend of Yahawashi. With that, shalom, shalom, abba, baba.